Welcome, Ms. Reno, back to the Inquisition.
March 1993. Then Senator Joe Biden chairs a hearing for President Bill Clinton's nominee for Attorney General Janet Reno. January 2005. Condoleezza Rice surrounded by photographers at her confirmation hearing to be Secretary of State.
It is an honor and a privilege to be here this morning.
And January 2009, then Senator Hillary Clinton, President Barack Obama's pick for Secretary of State, taking questions at her confirmation hearing. For most of American history, this has been the process for presidential nominees requiring Senate approval. But the Constitution also permits so-called recess appointments. Bypassing the confirmation process altogether, it permits a nominee to be selected while the Senate is out of session to serve out the remainder of a 2-year term.
Remember, this was the 18th century. If they weren't in town, it could take a long time for them to get back. You might need somebody in a job. They didn't want to hamstring the president.
Andrew Seligson from nonprofit Public Agenda says in the modern era, presidents have at times used recess appointments to get around Senate objections.
Nearly 5 months ago, I nominated John Bolton.
For example, in 2005, President George W. Bush ended a long standoff with Democrats by installing John Bolton as ambassador to the United Nations, while the Senate was on recess.
This post is too important to leave vacant any longer.
Some presidents started thinking, well, if I might have a problem getting my nominees through the Senate, I can take advantage of their not being in session.
In 2014, the Supreme Court then added new restrictions, ruling that recess appointments can only be made if the Senate has been on recess for at least 10 days.
The order for a pro forma session today.
Which is why the Senate now regularly holds so-called pro forma sessions, when the chamber symbolically gavels in while most members are away from Washington to prevent the White House from slipping in an appointment.
Wow, thank you, wow.
Now, President-elect Donald Trump is pushing Senate leadership to allow recess appointments, writing on social media that without them, quote, we will not be able to get people confirmed in a timely manner.
How much of this is to avoid the bad press, essentially?
Probably a lot of it.
Political analyst Casey Burgett says a recess appointment can allow a president to install an appointee who might not win Senate approval and avoid the public scrutiny that comes with a confirmation hearing.
He doesn't want a high-profile fight. He doesn't want to risk the chance that these folks are not confirmed, even by members of his own party.
Now, the incoming Senate Majority Leader John Thune said that he'd prefer to go through the normal process to get Trump's picks confirmed, but that, quote, all options are on the table, including recess appointments. In Washington, I'm Evan Koslof, Spectrum News.